It is the return of leverage in Dynasty Fantasy Football leagues, because for the longest time we kind of sit after the rookie draft, and it's my favorite meme that I like to use in my videos. It's the Nemo meme where they escape and they're in the bags and they're like, no, what? That's literally us for the last like 4 months sitting on our hands. Not 4 months, but this all changes because you said like the 12th, right? I mean, that's this week.
That's the earliest that rookies report to some camps is July 12th.
Okay, but either way, like all of the training camps are starting in the next 2 weeks, right? Yes. I mean, so it's happening. Like first of all, red alert. We're back. Like we're pretty much back. The nice thing about Dynasty is by the time you get to, so the 22nd, 23rd, 15th, 15th, 20th, so it's like all like the 16th through 23rd. Yep. By the time you get to this point, and so the 15th, I mean, that's next Monday. Yeah, so you got,
yep.
Oh, whew. Yeah. By the time you get to this point in the Dynasty season, you have been talking hypotheticals for so long, you want to hypothetically shoot yourself. Like, that's really where we're at right now. But leverage returns, and trading is going to pick up once we start getting into training camp. Why? Because we go from old information to new information, and the more new information we have about players, rookies, veterans, Justin Fields, the better, because all of those guys are guys that you're going to be looking to make moves on during training camp. And we're going to tell you how to navigate it. We're going to give you some specific players to buy, sell, whatever next week on a video. But this week, we wanted to talk about just your general strategy, what important points that you should remember. Because honestly, there are a lot of mistakes that are made during the training camp portion of the Dynasty offseason. A lot. And I'll tell you exactly why. And we've gotten better at this as a Dynasty community, but really it's because emotionally, number one, we're bored. Number two, we have essentially football blue balls. Like we are desperate to have any sort of football in our lives. And so at the second where we get a sleeper alert and it's like, oh, by the way, Jarquez Hunter got 6 snaps today for the Rams. We're like,
dude, you literally just stole my example.
I'll send a first for him right now.
Gosh, dang it.
That was your example?
Yeah.
See? It didn't take long for me to get back from vacation. I already read your mind.
I know, yeah.
Well, I'm sending a first for him, and I'm getting questions. Like, should I send a 2026 first for Jarquez? I'm like, well, hold on. Like, no. So how do you actually navigate? Like, here's what we really need to kind of sort out in this video. We'll start with this. How do you handle headlines from training camp? Because all the live long day, what you're going to get on your phones is sleeper saying,
turning heads.
Oh, look at this guy. This guy's opening eyes. This guy's turning heads. This guy's...
You know who can open their eyes and turn their heads?
Joe.
Me.
Why you guys watch this channel. So how do you handle that? Most of the time, the answer is to do nothing, right? We've talked about this since the day we were a baby channel, and we'll talk about it until someday we have more subscribers than Mr. Beast. And that is keep your head above the waves. It's the one thing that is probably going to be on my tombstone at this point. That we will literally go to our graves preaching to you guys about Dynasty, because that is the one thing in Dynasty Fantasy Football that literally never fails. And at the point where you are in training camp, the emotions about football are so heightened that the reactionary tendencies from Dynasty players go way, way up. It happens every year, and what you have are ginormous mistakes being made in your Dynasty leagues in terms of trading. Overpaying for players, underselling players, right? I mean, panic buying, panic selling, all over the place. And people get Dynasty schizophrenia, essentially. Like, and so here's how to handle headlines. Most of the time, literally think nothing of them. Occasionally, there are some things that are like legitimate reports. I would encourage you, if you want actual legitimate news on some of the guys that you are rostering on your Dynasty leagues, follow NFL beat writers. NFL beat writers do not care. They're not Sleeper. Sleeper is propaganda. Sleeper is fake news. Sleeper is the communist media is essentially what it is right here. Like they are pushing narratives to try to get you to trade for or trade away a player in a dynasty. They really do. They are doing it on purpose. They think we're too stupid to realize it. Sleeper's trying to trick you.
Yeah.
And so you really want to get information on your players, follow beat writers, because they are not going to try to influence you. They're going to be honest about what they see. Sleeper is the devil. They're the devil. And honestly, their interface being bad enough, I'll talk crap about Sleeper all day long. There's not a better option, unfortunately, play Dynasty Fantasy Football. But usually don't do anything about your headlines. Take notes about where guys are actually getting opportunity. But when they're not, don't freak out. You're going to summarize this video in the comments of, so basically you're telling us to do nothing. That's typically the best strategy in training camp, is to just do nothing. But a lot of times what we see, an example, a couple of years ago, we had the Hall of Fame game of all games, the Hall of Fame game. And lo and behold, the Raiders bring in Zamir White, and they're in the Hall of Fame game.
It's our favorite example. We'll never not talk about it.
It is because at the time Simon was with us, and Simon freaked out about this, and it was the stupidest thing of all time.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, Zamir White is going to be the starter there now over Josh Jacobs. Because guys, I can't tell you enough. The preseason means almost nothing. But here's the thing. There are lots of opportunities in the preseason because it means almost nothing and because people run with narratives, especially with rookies. I think we should touch on rookies first because, in my opinion, if you don't get rookies that you like in the rookie draft or around April, I think this is the time to get them. It almost always is, and right before the season is the best time to buy rookies.
Yes, and you just have to be careful with the rookies that you're going to invest in because I'm telling you what, guys, as much as we say invest in rookies before the season, that doesn't mean that you invest in Jarquez Hunter when his price doubles, right? And I know Jarquez Hunter is going to be the next Todd Gurley. Like, we're going to be wrong about that or something. Which is fine, but it's just an example. Keeping your head above the waves doesn't mean that you do nothing in terms of you do no freaking out about players and their hype or their anti-hype. It means that keeping your head above the waves actually takes a lot of work, and you do have to do something, and that requires making moves and taking advantage of the value dips and value spikes of guys that do and don't make sense with the movement that's happening in the Dynasty community. So make sure when you're navigating rookies during training camp, I'm telling you guys, the best news about a rookie in training camp is no news at all. And the reason that's the case is because when you hear not a single peep about Brian Thomas Jr. in training camp heading into the season, his value doesn't do jack. In fact, it slowly goes down because other guys jump him. And I missed on that big time last year. And I wasn't anti-Brian Thomas, but I wasn't all over him because no one was talking about him. And the Jags weren't talking about him. Not as much as some of these other guys in the hype that they were getting, right? I mean, we were seeing all the highlight reel catches that Keon Coleman was getting. We were seeing, plenty of, admittedly, relevant usage that Xavier Worthy was getting in training camp, which ended up being relevant, but it did take him a little bit of time to develop. Brian Thomas Jr. ended up being the guy, and no crap, because he was a mid-first round pick who went just a few picks after those top-level wide receiver prospects, and he was in the tier that was just below them in the bakery. So, honestly, guys, the best news about a rookie is no news. When you are looking at day 3 running backs and some of the hype that these day 3 running backs are going to get during training camp, this is honestly going to be the time where some of them you might want to move off of. There's going to be a lot of them that you're going to want to take some shots on as well. When Jarquez Hunter gets hype headline after hype headline after hype headline, we do have to be a little bit realistic with ourselves and realize that Kyren Williams, guys, is going to get 90% of the carries in that offense until he gets injured or until Kyren Williams decides to turn into Saquon Barkley. That's just the reality. Right? And honestly, it really does mirror the Zamir White and Josh Jacobs situation. Jarquez Hunter is going to get first-team snaps. Oh, boy. Jarquez Hunter is going to get all the carries in the Hall of Fame game. Jarquez Hunter is going to get a lot of usage and a lot of opportunity because the Rams liked him as a 5th-round day 3 pick. They liked him a lot. They wanted to take a shot on him there. And I'm not anti-Jarquez Hunter. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is there are price points for these day 3 running backs where it is worth moving off of them because don't tell me it's wrong. You can start moving some of these day 3 running backs that get enough hype for 2nd-round picks. You can move some of these guys for proven productive vets that you'll be able to flex this year consistently week in and week out as a contender. That's why we tell you to invest in day 3 running backs in April because of what you can start getting for them about now, before they even step on the field. And by the way, they're not going to be stepping on the field very much in the first couple of weeks of the season because they got to earn their right to do it because they were day 3 picks. So let's be a little bit conservative there and realize that the hype for some of these day 3 guys, while it may be relevant given their situation, admittedly Tootin and Scadaboo. Right? They're going to have to earn their way into that offense. Admittedly, Jaden Blue.
Tootin and Scadaboo, we've talked about this at length, they're going to drop in value during the preseason. Yeah. In Dynasty. Pretty easily. Because it's not going to come out to the starting right away. I would bet my house that they're going to say, oh, Tyrone Tracy's getting first-team reps, and everybody's going to just be like, Scadaboo sucks. It's never really about a run. And that's on the kind of flip side example of what you were just saying. That's actually a reason to hold a lot of those guys. In fact, I have found myself in the past selling those guys too early at times. For example, I sold Bucky Irving too early last year in a league, and it bit me. It bit me bad.
Yep.
And so my philosophy used to be always to sell high on those guys. Now it's like try to weed through what's real, what's not.
Yeah.
If you really have a day 3 guy that really does look like he could be something there.
So I think that's what the caveat is here, is if you have an established lead running back in an offense that has shown no signs of regression and no signs that he's going to give up his lead role on that offense, you probably don't want to be the guy that's going to pay a premium for that backup running back, because chances are, again, this is not anti-Jarquez Hunter. The reason I'm saying this is you'll get Jarquez Hunter at a discount in the first 4 weeks of the season when he's getting no opportunity or very limited opportunity. You get him at that price, and then he shoots up boards when potentially he does get an opportunity if Kyron Williams goes down, or if Kyron is more inefficient than expected and Jarquez does start to eat into that workload, because they tried to get Corum involved last year, and he didn't do anything. So you would assume that Hunter's probably going to be the second guy there.
They're going to try to get Hunter involved
this year.
Jarquez Hunter is. We probably should find a different example so we don't just he could be good.
Yeah.
Like he's legitimately somebody that could be good. So it's just an example.
Yeah.
But other examples. I mean, 2 things that really don't matter: preseason playing time. I'm old enough to remember Garrett Wilson not doing anything in the preseason. Like Nathan said, no news is good news. There was no news about Garrett Wilson in his preseason, and I bought him low in 3 leagues the day before the NFL season. 3 Dynasty leagues. In the same day. I sent an offer for him in every single league because at that point, everybody had gotten so low on him because he didn't play in the preseason very much and he only got a couple snaps. That's a good, guys, if you don't hear anything about your favorite rookie that got drafted in the first round, good. The other thing, so preseason playing time does not matter. The depth chart does not matter. I am old enough to remember Bijan Robinson being 3rd on the Falcons running back depth chart as a rookie. And yes, Algier got more work that year than I thought he would. But who was the starting running back in that terrible, terrible Arthur Smith Atlanta Falcons team?
Yeah.
It was Bijan. It doesn't matter. Depth charts don't matter also.
No, they don't.
And you also are going to have some NFL coaches that are boomers, and just for the heck of it, they're like, well, the rookie has to earn his spot, and the veteran has to, knowing full well, which is the dumbest thing of all time.
Yeah.
You're also going to see this with QBs. I mean, this happens with QBs a lot. I mean, they've already said it with Jackson Dart, like, oh, Dart's not going to be the starter. It's going to be Russ. Russ is our guy. Russ is our guy. Russ is our guy. Russ is going to do high knees straight to the bench after about 5 games, probably. That's probably what's going to happen. And so you're not selling low on Jackson Dart because Russ is the starter there, right? It's going to happen with all these rookies. Even our favorite guys are going to be victim to the dynasty anti-hype conundrum, and they're going to lose value. And you have to keep your head above the waves, because from a value strategy standpoint, you're talking about when you lose value and you sell low, you are taking a value loss. If you hold through the value losses, you end up being okay. We made an entire video about this one time where I basically explained to people that even though I drafted Justin Fields in the 4th round of a dynasty startup, I wasn't going to sell him because I knew eventually his value would go back up. And what did we get? The comments of that video were basically that we have take lock, that we what was the
the sunk
cost fallacy. Oh, people don't know what sunk cost fallacy is. Like that that's what that taught me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a sunk cost, because Justin Fields is twice as valuable as he was at his low point when I could have sold him, and now I can actually sell him for something.
He's going to throw a spy roll in training camp, and every time Justin Fields throws a spy roll,
it
doesn't matter if it's to a wide receiver or a corner, his value is going to go up.
Do you remember?
That's just the reality.
Do you remember the Bears? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
My gosh.
People showing the throw and cutting it off before the corner's
before
hands.
he got picked off.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, beautiful. We're like, show the whole play there, Bob. So it's the same thing with veterans. We talk a lot about rookies because rookies are honestly the most volatile assets during training camp. Veterans are going to be this way as well. You're going to see veterans coming back from training camp. You know, Rashee Rice is rumored to be ready for training camp. But if he comes out and he doesn't practice at first, look, it's baked into Rashee Rice's price already that he got his knee absolutely kerchewed by Patrick Mahomes. Like, I mean, swan dove into his knee and tore his, not ACL,
I think
LCL?
it was his LCL.
Correct us if we're wrong. We know you will. But
one of the
CLs, one of the collateral ligaments was torn by Rashee Rice. So you know that if he doesn't come out and practice, he's going to lose value. If he does, he's probably going to gain value. When in reality, this was all baked into all their prices. Somebody like Brandon Ayuk, we know Brandon Ayuk is not going to play. But Brandon Ayuk is still going to lose value in the preseason. Mm-hmm. He just will. And this is just the natural tendencies of the dynasty market as well, when these veterans who are going to score you points, are going to be high upside flex guys, are going to increase in value as well. So, moral of the story, pretty much do nothing. I mean, that really is. But play the market smart. When
Yeah,
the flip side of this is, and I'll let you talk about this, when mistakes are being made in Dynasty leagues for Dynasty trades, that means somebody on the other end is getting very large value wins.
Yes.
And that's where the domainers need to be.
And that's why we tell people and have been telling people constantly over the last month and a half to start being patient with making deals with their league mates if a lot of them are being stingy and not wanting to make a ton of moves right now, and wait until training camp. Why do we tell people to wait until training camp? Because that's when league mates start opening up because of the hype, because of guys that they want to sell low, because they start freaking out about them. This is the time, one of the very rare times in Dynasty, in one of the very rare times in the Dynasty offseason, where there are a plethora of big value wins to be had because of the very situations that we were talking about here, guys, right? Like, don't get us wrong. Don't get me wrong. When I come up with a counterpoint against a rookie, it's because there are a ton of points for that rookie, and I'm trying to balance it out with a counterpoint. For every point for, there's a point against, right? And for every point against, there's a point for. So that's why you want to play the market. And when the points against a player, when the reasons against investing in a rookie outweigh the reasons to invest in him just because of training camp news, that's when you probably want to start reevaluating that player depending on what their draft capital is and being like, okay, maybe I should start investing in this player low. If you hear no news about Emeka Egbuka because Godwin and Evans are there and they're getting a lot of the usage and the opportunity in training camp, then like that might be a time where, like, as a reload especially, you might want to go and get Emeka Egbuka before he has a couple of really big games in 2025, potentially, right? So you just want to make sure that you're navigating these things correctly. It's not because we're for or against this player. There's a reason, again, there is a reason that we tell you guys to invest in day 3 running back, specifically in the early offseason, because this is the time now where half of them shoot up boards and the other half of them maintain or lose a little bit of value before they shoot back up heading right into the season.
So
it's all about situation. It's all about what your not just the community as a whole does with these guys, but what your league does with these guys as well, because your league is not everyone else's league, and you can take that to your advantage. If you have a Cowboys fan who is big on Jaden Blue, then you might want to take advantage of that depending on what his price is. And the counter to that too, if you have a ton of guys that are all Eagles fans and they all hate the Cowboys and sell Jaden Blue for a bag of chips, you're like, hey, I'll just get him for literally pennies on the dollar and see if he ends up being a market value win heading into the season.
So, I mean, you need to remember, again, just keep your head above the waves. Next week, we're going to give you some specific players that we think, hey, these guys are already going to be benefits or, are not benefiting from positive press. And maybe you should buy them, or maybe you should sell these guys. We're going to give you those guys specifically. We'll be putting them in the Discord as we go through training camp. It's a good time to go ahead and get a team blueprint if you haven't, to make sure you have a plan for your Dynasty team, because we are effectively less than 60 days out from the NFL season at this point.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a plan, we'd like to, help you get a plan. We can give you a second opinion on your team. You can get one. It's included. You can come join for the entire season and the entire Dynasty offseason. Get the infinite blueprint every single month, but we'll do the initial one for you. Nathan and I both, we do all of these personally. Give you a full plan for your Dynasty team. flockfantasy.com/domain. Code domain and your mother flock tree will get that done for you. You can get a free one, and we can also have you join the Discord, come join some leagues, things like that. But we will have, again, some specific guys next week. It's about that time where we are going to start. It's the, what does Gandalf say? It's the war. What's the quote from Return of the King that I'm thinking of? Frick, I can't remember it. All right, Gandalf said something about a war, the war of time, and we're going to be doing that against all the media hype. We'll see you later.